Okay, hello everyone.
Hi.
Mrs. Gegg and I are back again to continue on with teaching you guys Toolbox. Today we will be starting off with the personal space tool. We've already learned this tool, so remember guys, this is just a review of these next two tools. So for personal space, our slogan is, I have a right to my space, and so do you. And Mrs. Gegg, I think this is a coincidence actually that we are learning
Yes.
about our personal space
Yes.
during the quarantine.
Yep. 6 feet apart.
So remember, our image for our personal space tool is actually a ball of yarn. And the idea is that if I had a real piece of or a ball of yarn actually, and I was in your classroom, and I was going to say, hey guys, I'm going to pull this piece of yarn here, and I want you to cut it at the length that you would like your personal space circle to be. So if we were to do that and hand them all out, and everyone put their personal space string around them, everyone's length of that circle would be pretty different. Maybe you wanted a really long string because you said, I really like my personal space. I really don't like people too close to me or in my personal bubble. And that's perfectly fine. Or there are some students who would have said, well, I'm okay, with people being pretty close to me. So I really don't want that long of a string for mine. So that's the idea when it comes with a ball of yarn.
So we're all different. And when you go to different countries or you're in different cultures, people see even as a culture or a country, they have different ideas about personal space. And it may be that they feel more comfortable being close, or it may be that you're too close. And there's just this sense that there needs to be more distance between people. So sometimes you don't really know, but you might get a feeling from the way someone's kind of stepping back that you need to give more space.
Yeah, I think that's a great example culturally, Mrs. Gegg, because in families even, if we maybe went to our friend's house, they might do things differently. I remember presenting this in the classroom, and I had a student tell me, well, when I have family events with my family, if I was to go to my grandma's house or my uncle's house, our first thing that we do is we hug everyone. That's what we do in our family. We walk in the door and they greet everyone with a hug, and that's what her family does, and that's normal for her. And I said, okay, well, what if you went to your friend's house? Would you feel comfortable hugging all of her family members?
Yeah.
And she said, well, I don't think so because I don't really know them. So if I was to be invited to my friend's house, if she was having a birthday party or her brother or sister is having a birthday party, I'm not sure if I'd feel that comfortable greeting every one of her family members with a hug, but she might see them do that with one another. So we have to understand that in different families and in different cultures, it's okay that they do different things. It's just about respecting the fact that they might be a little closer or they might not be.
Yeah. And some people are huggers and some people aren't.
Yep.
So you kind of have to read body language to see if it's okay to hug or if it's okay to just kind of step back if a lot of people want to hug you and you don't feel like hugging.
And I think we've probably all been there, and sometimes also we're just not in the mood for a hug sometimes too.
Yeah.
So here are a list of some examples so we can imagine our own space in various situations and how our space can change. So that can be space with our own family members, as we talked about. That can be space with our friends. Maybe certain friends, like Mrs. Gegg said, they love hugs. Maybe they like a high five. That's okay. Or space with people we are just getting to know. Maybe we remember on that first day of school, maybe if we're sitting next to someone we don't really know too well, and we're just kind of like, hi, we're pretty close, but what's your name? And you'll get to know them. But if you were to sit directly next to a friend that you know, you'd be pretty comfortable being that close to them, maybe in the classroom or in the cafeteria.
Yep.
We have space while waiting in line with strangers. That can be at the grocery store. That can be, I think of an example of maybe going to an amusement park and you're in a long line waiting and you might have some strangers that are either in the front of you or in the back of you. And you might say, we're pretty close. I wish this line would hurry up.
Yeah.
Or
we've been there.
Yeah, we have. Or the last one is space around someone who is talking very loudly or is angry. Has
Yeah.
that ever happened to you, Mrs. Gegg?
Yeah. When someone's angry
Mm-hmm.
and I'm nearby, I want to take a few steps back.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you can be angry, but I feel like it's coming at me too closely when we're that close. So I'm going to step back.
Yeah. And that's the right that you have. And that's the idea with our personal
Yes.
is that we each have the right to our own space. And so does the other person. So you should feel comfortable with taking a step back and saying, I just need a little space between the two of us right now. You seem angry or upset, and I just want to take a couple steps back.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that brings us into the ideas of actually using our words.
Mm. Yes. Using our words tool. So I use the right words in the right way. So sometimes we think that maybe people understand something about us that we haven't conveyed with words.
Yeah.
And then there's misunderstandings with people. So the using our words tool gives us a voice to ask for what we want and need. And this is a skill we must learn and practice.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, and I don't know if you've experienced this, Mrs. Mori, but we feel a little maybe scared to use our words,
Mm.
thinking that someone might be angry with us, or
Yes.
thinking that we might be a little uppity if we say what we need. So practicing using our words in ways that we can still make people feel comfortable, or maybe there's a little discomfort, but we become okay with that. It's really important to let people know what we need.
Yes, I definitely agree, Mrs. Gegg. It reminds me that these tools, yes, we're teaching these to our students, but even us as adults, we also need to learn these tools as well and continue to practice them.
Mm-hmm.
We're not
Yes.
going to be perfect at them, but it does take time. And I can think of many times that I have trouble with using the right words in the right way.
Mm-hmm. And it's hard. Like, I've been in a work situation, I've been in a family situation, I've
Mm-hmm.
been in a situation in a store where I feel like I need to say something that makes me a little uncomfortable. I feel like I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, but I feel like if I don't say something, I will regret it.
Yep.
So it using our words helps us connect to others, and it helps us see ours and others' value. Using this tool will help us clarify misunderstandings and resolve conflicts. So if we don't ask someone, if we're kind of getting the vibe, the body language from someone, that maybe something we did bothers them, and maybe they're not too great at using our words, or we kind of know that people are reluctant, we might say, is there something bothering you? Is there something I did to offend you? That's checking things out can be a way of using our words that helps us clear up misunderstandings.
Yes.
So let's see. So it means conveying information that we think that someone else doesn't know, talking about our feelings, which can be, sad or lonely or scared feelings, or happy, joyful, gleeful feelings. Um, Communicating well means listening deeply to the small voice within us. So we talked about listening to other people and being a
Mm-hmm.
good listener,
Yep.
but now we have to listen to what's going on in our hearts and our brains and find out our true voice. So, oh, this is something where I feel like I need to speak up. This
Yeah.
is really hard. I'm seeing my friend kind of get teased by my other friend,
Yep.
and it's hard, but I need to speak up and,
Mm-hmm.
and stick up for that friend.
Yeah. I think that's a great example, Mrs. Gegg, because I think we can all think of examples when we didn't speak up. And our
Yes.
inner voice will tell us later on,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I should have said something. Oh
Mm-hmm.
gosh, I regret that. I wish that I would have spoken up for my friend,
Yeah.
even spoken up for myself. And
Yes.
that's okay. It definitely happens because we're not perfect, but it's encouragement to let us know the next time we are in those situations to listen to our true voice and our inner voice.
Yeah. And we know that everything we do is not easy.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking up can be one of the more difficult things.
Yeah.
And we have to find a way to let others know our feelings without being coming across as aggressive or
Mm-hmm.
angry or judgmental,
Yeah.
and so it might be something like, I know that you didn't try to hurt my feelings, but when you said that about my house and my family, it kind of hurt my feelings. So I just wanted you to know that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I love Mrs. Gegg that with the using our words tool, I use the right words in the right way. Because the way that you just said that with your tone of voice and the words that you chose to use, it made me on the other end say, wow, I really may have hurt her feelings. But imagine if you still said those exact words, but you were maybe yelling them. I don't think I would have received it in a good
No.
way.
Right, because instead of hearing what I had to say, you would hear how I said it. And
Exactly.
then you would feel angry that I was getting mad at you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So at times it's risky to even use our true voice because we might be saying something that is different than what our peers are saying.
Yep.
And that might come up in a situation where maybe someone is being teased and bullied.
Mm-hmm.
We have to stick up for someone else, or maybe we're being teased and bullied. Like, have you ever had a friend say something kind of mean and then say, "Oh, I'm only joking"?
Yeah.
Has that happened to you, Mrs. Mori?
Yeah. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
are you really joking?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you might have to say, I know that was a joke in your mind, but it hurt my feelings. Mm-hmm.
And that's hard to say.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of courage.
Mm-hmm.
It goes along with our courage tool, actually, because in that
Mm-hmm.
moment, it would be easier to just laugh it off and maybe not say anything. But it
Yeah.
takes that courage in that moment to speak up for yourself and to use your words to let that person know how you feel.
Yeah. Yeah. So another example is you're sitting there taking a test and someone is cheating and looking at your paper,
Mm,
and you might say, I feel scared that we're going to get into trouble when you are looking at my answers or cheating, or however you want to say it. Will you please stop? And that might be scary, but it also brings it out in the open.
yep.
And when you bring something out in the open, you can deal with it. If you just sit there and think your thoughts and you don't say anything, then something won't stop, or something that's wrong won't be corrected.
Agree. Agree. One thing, Mrs. Gegg, I realize is that with our using our words tool as well, everyone, our hand gesture
Yes.
for
Yes.
using our words and our image is a pencil here. So
Mm-hmm.
that is looking like this. You're just drawing in there, writing with a
Right.
pencil. And that is our hand gesture for using our
For
words.
using our words. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Okay, well, those are our two tools today. These
Mm-hmm.
tools, I think, are pretty simple, but it does take time. That's the
Yeah.
idea with all of our tools.
Got to practice. Mm-hmm.
Practicing our tools. So that can be with our personal space tool, which we are all practicing right
Yes.
now.
Yes.
And
Yes.
are using our words tool.
Great.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's it, Mrs. Gegg, for today.
Yes. And we will see you next week. And we will post a few more tools to review on the classroom.
Yes. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Thanks
Okay.
for
Have a
tuning
great
in.
day. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.